He practiced his hard-earned rhymes in front of the mirror, hoping he could memorize them before going on stage, his body moving along with the beat. But it was his first time performing, and he was so nervous that he rushed into the bathroom and threw up, his heart pounding as he tried to cram the lyrics into his head. Just as he was hurrying backstage, a security guard suddenly stopped him, and it looked like letting him through would be difficult. At the time, underground rap was almost completely dominated by black performers, and compared to them, Jimmy looked out of place. Fortunately, a guy with dreadlocks spoke up to vouch for him, and only then did the guard let him pass. They walked through a hallway packed with black rappers, changed into their stage outfits, and forced smiles onto their faces. Although his brothers hyped him up endlessly, the rookie Jimmy still felt like a scared little kid. The black rapper on stage had a powerful natural presence and quickly grabbed the crowd's attention. But when it was Jimmy's turn to pick up the mic, the packed audience felt he wasn't impressive enough, and the carefully prepared rhymes suddenly got stuck in his throat. Jimmy had no choice. Even though his brothers were cheering him on, he knew the audience wouldn't encourage him. And just like that, Jimmy was booed off the stage. Sitting alone on a midnight bus, the scenes from the day replayed endlessly in his mind. Kicked out by his girlfriend, Jimmy could only go stay at his mother's place. But the moment he walked in, he ran straight into his mother's late-night hookup. It wasn't until much later that his mother came out to comfort him, while her new boyfriend coldly told him to get lost. His mother owed a huge debt, and even with a boyfriend, her life showed no sign of stability. Jimmy got into a heated argument with the man and ended up throwing punches, only stopping when his mother stepped in to break them apart. When she learned that Jimmy had left his car with his girlfriend, his mother immediately handed him the keys. In a few days, it would be Jimmy's birthday, and that old car was her heartfelt gift. Unfortunately, the car was even more unreliable than she was. The more he tried to start it, the more it refused to cooperate. Jimmy began checking the car when his childhood friend suddenly showed up and greeted him enthusiastically. Using a street-style hand gesture, he encouraged Jimmy to let go of the disappointment of losing the battle and told him not to waste time on small competitions anymore. He said he could introduce Jimmy to a record label and absolutely wouldn't go back on his word. Although his friend sounded sincere, Jimmy still felt uneasy about what he said. Deep down, he knew you couldn't really trust a street hustler, but Jimmy also believed he was the protagonist of his own world. For now, what mattered most was surviving on his factory job. On the bus, he put on his headphones, pulled out his notebook packed with dense rhymes, stared out the window, and searched for inspiration. Although the old city of Detroit was crumbling and bleak, it somehow made his thoughts flow faster, his delivery sharper, and his mouth quicker. Factory work drained both body and mind, and Jimmy was the only white guy there, so the foreman often singled him out and picked on him. At that moment, a hot girl came to see one of the workers, and the supervisor immediately escorted her upstairs with unusual enthusiasm and questionable intentions. Looking at her long, pale legs, Jimmy couldn't help but think she really was beautiful. After work, he and his dreadlocked friend fixed the car together, singing and swaying along to the music from the stereo. Even though his life felt hopeless, at least he still had music playing in his heart. A few days later, another rap battle was coming up, and his friends took it upon themselves to push him to reclaim his glory. Though Jimmy was still extremely nervous, the guy with dreadlocks believed that one day he would rise above and show his true strength. That night, Jimmy drove the repaired car and took his brothers cruising through the streets. The chubby guy got his hands on a paintball gun, and they started fooling around, shooting wildly in the streets. But when it was Jimmy's turn, he accidentally fired at a police car. They thought no one was inside, but the next second, a midnight nightmare began. They fled into an alley to escape the chase, barely avoiding becoming police targets. On the roadside, a crowd of black rap lovers had gathered, and the atmosphere reignited Jimmy's passion. Here, no matter age or gender, everyone was brimming with talent. Pushed to the front by his brothers, Jimmy warmed up briefly before being urged to show what he had.
Your style is generic, mine's authentic made. I roll like a renegade, Uniclinic aid. My technique's bizarre and ill, I scar and kill.
A hot girl named Alex happened to be nearby watching the scene. Among the crowd, Jimmy had the most presence. But just then, the local gang stormed in, trying to drive them all away. They jumped into their car, shouting provocations, while the guy with dreadlocks held himself back from exploding.
Fuck the free world! Fuck the free world! Yo, you 3 1/3 bitches is whack!
Enraged, the gang mocked the chubby guy's weight and brought up how Jimmy had forgotten his lyrics before, saying he had stood on stage like a mute. Jimmy instantly snapped. Without fancy tactics, he decided to teach them a hard lesson. The gang leader even pulled out a gun. Caught in the middle, Jimmy's childhood friend felt torn and distressed and could only step in to calm both sides down. Jimmy followed his brothers to a bar, where he immediately spotted Alex, blooming like a flower. His eyes kept drifting toward her, but he never found the courage to go up and talk, only admiring her silently. When he noticed noticed his ex-girlfriend was also there. Jimmy slipped outside alone. He sat on the back of his car, seizing every spare moment to practice his rap. Unexpectedly, Alex noticed his effort and took the initiative to come over, offering guidance.
I hear you're a real dope rapper.
The dope rapper?
Alex worked at a nearby restaurant, but dreamed of becoming a star in New York. When she heard they planned to continue partying at his friend's place, she joined them without hesitation. Watching Alex's graceful dancing, the guy with dreadlocks urged Jimmy to make a move, but Jimmy felt she was different, believing she would eventually fulfill her dreams and not stay trapped in a cage. Another companion, fueled by alcohol, talked about how Detroit had changed in recent years. Since the auto industry declined, many elites had left, and the abandoned houses they left behind became hideouts for addicts and criminals. Worried about his younger sister's safety in the future, Jimmy had an idea and led his brothers into an abandoned house. They poured gasoline everywhere, planning to burn it down after leaving, but their simple-minded buddy struck a match before anyone had gone out. With dry wood meeting flames, the fire spread instantly. Jimmy had to escape from the rooftop, more worried about his brother's safety. Luckily, everyone made it out safely, even laughing wildly near the blaze. The fire seemed to burn away everything, just like their youth, scorching and intense.
You're gonna be great. I got a feeling about you.
The next day, Jimmy went to work as usual, but his ex-girlfriend showed up to stir trouble. She lied about being pregnant, hoping to reconcile, but Jimmy had no desire to repeat his mistakes.
You know that everybody's calling you a loser from the other night?
Who said that?
Oh, everybody's talking about it.
Though he said nothing, her mockery still cut deeply. Knowing it was the gang spreading his embarrassing stories, Jimmy suddenly pulled the car over, jumped out, and attacked without hesitation. His brothers had no choice but to join the fight. In the chaos, a gunshot rang out. One of his companions had somehow gotten a pistol and was wildly shouting for their opponents to kneel and apologize. Jimmy only wanted to fight to vent his anger. He never intended to get anyone killed.
Man, put that shit away, dog, before you fucking kill somebody.
Okay, all right.
Fuck.
His brothers rushed the wounded man to the hospital, preventing a fatal outcome. But on the way home, the guy with dreadlocks and another companion started arguing again. Annoyed, Jimmy slammed the car door and got out, unwilling to discuss it further. All these messy troubles made Jimmy feel the bleak gap between ideals and reality. At lunchtime, all the black workers gathered for an impromptu rap battle, using music to dissolve everything, and Jimmy found himself drawn in.
Especially from a gay broke bitch yourself, when really you're the one who's got the HIV. Fuck it, I'll let homegirl finish you off.
In just a few beats, he earned cheers. As he hugged his coworkers, he noticed Alex smiling too. Jimmy felt immensely proud, and Alex was ready to scream for him. Their passion flared, and they almost wanted to create a future together. But when he got home that night, he saw Alex arriving with his childhood friend. Furious and humiliated by the thought of living with his mother, she stormed off. His friend chased after him, bringing good news. He said he wanted Jimmy to record a demo to raise his value, and if luck was on his side, contract offers would pour in. Jimmy finally calmed down a little, though doubts about Alex and his friend lingered.
What's up with you and Wink?
He's helping me get my book together. Using his connections.
Adjusting his cap, he silently watched Alex walk away. Love was wonderful, but rap was the love of his life. Even if rap became his greatest flaw, he truly loved her. That night, he focused on writing lyrics, turning his resentment toward life into obsession. By his side, his well-behaved little sister became the only gentle comfort in his anger. He slept on the couch all night, hoping to bury his sorrow, but woke up to see his mother's boyfriend. Because his mother owed rent, the man cursed loudly, ignoring her humble apologies, completely unmoved.
Man! My mother, man!
No, stay out of it. Stay out of it.
I'm out of here. Can't go out with someone like you.
Only when Jimmy stepped in did the scumbag finally leave. Struggling in life, Jimmy went to his friend to vent, only to learn that the guy with dreadlocks had already signed him up for the rap battle. Still upset from arguing with his mother, Jimmy lashed out at his friend for making decisions without him, shoving him hard and telling him to stay out of his business.
You know what? Do what the fuck you wanna do, man. Cause I don't give a shit anymore.
They parted on bad terms, but watching his friend walk away, Jimmy realized he had been wrong. That night, he went to the record company, planning to record a demo as his friend suggested. But as soon as he arrived at the studio, he caught them in another ugly situation and flew into a rage, brutally beating his friend. Alex's intervention made her realize that his friend hadn't forced anything. She had offered herself, desperate for a chance to survive in New York, but the gang wouldn't let him go. They surrounded Jimmy, beating him mercilessly, the leader even pressing a gun viciously against his face. His friend friend rushed in to stop them, saying he only wanted to teach Jimmy a lesson. After all, they had grown up together, and taking a life was crossing the line. It wasn't until his mother returned home that she found Jimmy sitting in the doorway, covered in blood. This time, she didn't drive him away, but brought him inside and gave him warmth. Having won $3,000 from gambling, she reignited her hope for life. The next day, Alex came to say goodbye, telling Jimmy she finally had a chance to go to New York. Jimmy wasn't sad. He understood how hard it was at the bottom, and that sometimes achieving a dream required ruthless choices. His own musical dream would soon soar in the upcoming battle. He asked a coworker to cover his shift, determined to turn the venue upside down. When his friends saw him arrive, they were stunned by his courage. Backstage, he practiced his set, while the gang treated him like the perfect prey. Only when the guy with dreadlocks stood beside Jimmy did they back off. Jimmy apologized for his earlier outburst, saying brotherhood was real gold, strong enough to endure flames. If Jimmy could perform well tonight, he would repay everything in the most honorable way. As the battle began, Jimmy once again slipped into the bathroom. Like last time, he stared into the mirror and met his own soul, but now his eyes were steady, his spirit hardened. His opponent was once again the same gang, but this time he faced their mockery without hiding. The rookie stunned everyone, defeating two powerful opponents in a row. Soon the final round arrived, and his opponent was none other than the reigning champion, the gang leader. Facing last year's winner, Jimmy unleashed unprecedented power.
Now everybody from the 313, put your motherfucking hands up and follow me. Everybody from the 313, put your motherfucking hands up. Look.
He wove his own humiliations into his lyrics, refusing to measure himself against others. His attacks left his opponent speechless, just as Jimmy himself had once been. A new champion was born, and the rap world gained a new star. He looked at Alex in the crowd, exchanging the same hand gesture as when they first met. Amid the thunderous cheers, he and his brothers walked out of the club. When they suggested celebrating, he calmly decided to go back to work, because Jimmy knew this victory was only a brief beginning. To reach his ultimate dream, he still had a long 8 miles to walk alone.
Lose yourself in the music, the more